What's up, fellas? It's Newt. Gonna do a live commentary over one of my VODs to show you how easy it is to do the High Roller Warlord boss and all the mechanics and probably the most optimal way to do it. Okay, here we go. So he's gonna do his one-shot mechanic off the bat. You can stand inside of the zone here. You see you get this aura. So you can sit at the edge if you want to regen spells to min-max. He will do the nuke. And this is a one-shot mechanic. You have to stand inside the zone, otherwise you'll die, just like the Ghost King jump. Okay, so you walk in, you do this. Second of all, he's going to spawn the ads instantaneously, which is why you see me getting prepared here. I run Holy Purification as the cleric, just to kill the ads faster with our comp. Obviously, the better gear you have, the faster you'll kill the ads, and with the bard you can also use Shriek of Weakness, however you prefer, and depending on the comp. So we'll run this in, we'll do this. I'll instantly do it as soon as they spawn. We'll try and kill all the ads first of all. Then second of all, once we're killing the ads here, he'll spawn his pizza. There it is. It's a blue triangle here. If you stand inside of this blue zone, you will gain scare stacks. Once you gain up to 5 scare stacks, he will spawn a cage around you. This cage will make you trapped until you break it. All you have to do is melee it, hit it once or twice, and it should be broken. Now after, he's going to spawn shortly. He's going to spawn, he does a couple of two animations of him looking like his sword like this. After that, he will spawn his second pizza. Whoever he's aggroed on, either me, Diablo, or Matt, he will spawn his pizza towards them. So ideally, while you're killing the ads, or when you think the ads are about to die, you want to stand in this vicinity here. Now, the reason you want to stand in this vicinity here is because you want all the pizza stacks to be on one side, so you have the rest of the room to kite. As he is a melee boss, you want to use your range to your advantage and try and kill the boss as fast as possible. So second of all, after that, he will spawn his crystals. All you have to do for the crystals is melee. If you stand in this beam zone, you will take damage, quite a lot of damage. I'm not sure if it's magical resistance based, or if you need that. As you can see, Diablo jumped in it for a second. He is nearly one shot, and he is just permakiting the boss. I'm trying to get a little heal on him just so that he doesn't die here. Matt is taking care of the crystals as he's playing rogue. He's got the fastest DPS and action speed out of us to destroy that there. He's going to do a couple of animations here. Now, one of the main animations he does, if he does 2 swings, so he does an overhead, which you can just kite, like you said. You can get in some quick DPS here. Diablo's going back and forward with him. Okay, once you do a little bit of DPS, he will go invulnerable. He will go back into the middle, and he'll reset his set again. So back to the nuke again. So as you can see, Diablo sat down inside here. He's trying to regen some spells for the min-max as he's playing wizard. I should have been doing it as well, but obviously it takes a little bit longer for the cleric, so it's not ideal. Like before, like we first started, he's going to redo the ads again. So keep doing this, keep killing the ads. And remember, this boss does have the lowest amount of HP out of all of the bosses in High Roller. However, he does seem like the scariest as he is a new boss. Anyway, he does that, and then he'll start doing his sword animation, and then he'll start spawning the pizzas. So as you can see, this room has got the least pizzas on it, so we want to ideally kite him over here. So he's about to spawn his other pizza, so it would have been either on my side or on their side. But either way, we're trying to get all the pizzas to go on that side of the room, and then he'll do the crystals again. So it's just pretty much trying to min-max and learn all the mechanics to make sure that you have the optimal space for kiting. As you can see, he switched aggro onto me. I just insta-run. If you do bait out his swing, just like any mob in this game, if you're used to fighting skeletons or other mobs, you can bait out his swing, and he does do damage to the crystals as well. Didn't forget to mention there. Also, for majority of his attacks, you can look down. If you're using a buckler and you block up, you can also block his attacks. He will, after blocking the attack, he will spawn a short pool in front of him. Okay, this does do a lot of damage, but when you use the buckler, like on a bard for example, you do not get staggered, and with the high MS that you have, you can avoid this little pool that he spawns in front of him. Now, for somebody like me who's playing cleric with a heater and a round shield, it's a lot more harder to block, so we try to abuse range as much as possible to let him get aggro so that we can get in, me and the rogue can get in our little DPS at times. So like so, he's getting that. I look down here because he does a circle attack. Now, in terms of the animation set, it's to be confirmed with how many times I've done the boss yet to see if he does this exact same animation set every time. But majority of them, you can get in 1 or 2 swings before he does his animation, but you have to let your range do majority of the DPS. Now, doing this as a full melee comp, I would be so unsure, as we've not done it yet, because range seems the most optimal for doing a melee type boss here. So he does an overhead, but he does, like you see, he gets locked in his animation for quite some time. If you go back and look at the video, the last 2 seconds, he does get locked in his animation, so you can get a lot of DPS, especially the rogue here who hits a lot. Next, he will do let's talk about his mechanics here. So he does have a mechanic where he does teleport here. Now I'll see if I can give us some sort of audio cue here. So like you can hear here, he does a teleportation mechanic, and he'll ideally spawn behind. He'll always teleport to somebody in the room and spawn behind them. Ideally, it'll be the person who he's already aggroed on, aka in our position, it's a wizard. But sometimes it's randomized, so all you need to do is listen out for the audio cue here.
I broke all of them.
He's so low, by the way. He's like one. Just hard DPS, hard DPS.
So pretty much, once he does that audio cue, as I could see, he was already TP'd behind Diablo. But if I heard that audio cue and I didn't see him, he was probably behind me. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So we'll continue on with the champion here. He's TP'd behind one of us in this case. You can also invis to de-aggro, and he will switch. As you can see, I'm here baiting out the swings. He does do a knife mechanic as well. In this case, I'm not sure if he does it. Okay, we go back to doing the reset again. So he has got a knife mechanic where when he's swinging his sword, he will do an animation set of 2. And once he does that animation set of 2, he will throw knives afterwards. And all you need to do to dodge those knives is crouch and look down, because he throws the knife in an upwards way. So all you need to do is just dodge. Okay, now this is a perfect example of when it's getting a bit dangerous. Now, as you can see, if you don't kill the ads in a long enough time, they will throw knives at you afterwards. Okay, and after throwing the knives, this is what they'll do. It's quite a bit of damage here, as you can see. So we'll try and get that cleared as fast as possible. And we know the boss is low here, so I'm going to do a little bit of a sank. Like you can see, we're still trying to stay on this side of the room for when he's spawning in the pizzas. And then obviously now he's done the crystals because we're having a sank and it's a little bit delayed. It's all about rhythm here when you're trying to get everything down, but I'm trying to just clear the crystals as fast as possible. And then afterwards, the rogue and the wizard will be trying to do as much DPS as possible. So in this case, he's TP to me. I've baited out his swing. I think he's just broken one of the crystals yet there. Yeah, he has. And then boom, that's him dead. Okay, so I think I've covered pretty much all majority of the mechanics that you can get out of the boss here. However, it's definitely if you're not used to taking bosses, it's definitely a gamble on what you can do. Now, I've heard that his loot table's bugged and that he doesn't always have the correct things to run, and I've heard that he doesn't always give the exact same loot, like the double legendary and the unique there, but I don't know, it's to be confirmed. Also, his boss room does not have a marvelous chest like the other bosses, so that's also another thing. However, we did manage to pull the named Viola, one of the rarest uniques in the game, from it, so I think it's very just a hit or miss kind of thing. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comments below. I'll try to answer everything that you can. This is my first time doing a guide or anything like this, so any feedback would be much appreciated, and yeah, take care guys. See you on stream.